The slap was so loud it rang in my ears. My head whipped to the side, my cheek burning, the metallic taste of blood in my mouth. Gasps rippled around the Thanksgiving table. His mother froze mid-bite. His brothers stared. My daughter, Emma, gripped her tablet so tightly her knuckles turned white. He leaned down, his voice low, smug. "Maybe now you'll learn when to shut your mouth." I didn't cry, I didn't scream. I just straightened my posture, looked at my plate, and swallowed the taste of humiliation. That was the moment I stopped being his wife. Before the cracks. When I first met Daniel, he was charming enough to disarm anyone. A broad smile, the kind that made waitresses linger. He showered me with compliments, flowers, dinners we couldn't afford. I told myself the intensity was passion. We married in under a year. At first, the arguments were small, about money, about work hours. But over time, his temper sharpened, and his apologies grew mechanical. By the time Emma was born, I was measuring every word before speaking. The signs I ignored. The yelling became routine, the slamming doors, the insults masked as jokes in front of friends. His grip on my arm when I disagreed with him in public. And then, 2 months ago, Emma came to me in her room. "Mom, I think Dad's different when you're not around." I brushed it off, told her not to worry. But she didn't drop it. The night everything shifted. 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, I caught him pacing outside the house, phone pressed to his ear, voice sharp. "Delete everything! I mean it! She can't see it!" When he came inside, he smiled too wide. I played along, but that night I checked the cloud account linked to his phone. Hidden in a private folder, buried behind passwords, I found videos, arguments, threats, and one clip, shaky, recorded from Emma's tablet, of him screaming at her, inches from her face. I stared at that clip for an hour. Then I put the tablet back in her drawer without saying a word. The plan. I didn't confront him, not yet. Instead, I quietly contacted a lawyer. The video was evidence, and in our state, abuse toward a child meant immediate custody review. I filed the paperwork in secret, naming the date I wanted it to be served, the Monday after Thanksgiving. But I wasn't just going to win in court. I wanted the truth to crack open in front of the people who enabled him. Thanksgiving Day. It was his idea to host. His family filled the dining room. The people who always told me, "He's just stressed," or "That's just how men are." He drank more than usual. The conversation turned political. I disagreed with something small, and his temper snapped like dry wood. The slap came fast. The silence after was worse. I saw his family looking at me, waiting to see if I'd make a scene, waiting to decide if I was the problem. I didn't move. I didn't speak. But Emma did. The 5 words. She stood up from her chair, walked around the table with her tablet in her hand. Her voice was small but steady. "Want to see proof, Grandma?" The air went thin. Daniel's fork clattered against his plate. Emma tapped the screen. The video played. His face twisted in fury, his voice booming from the speakers. "You're just like your mother, useless!" The room was frozen. The only sound was him, on the recording, slamming his hand against the wall inches from her head. His mother's hand went to her mouth. One of his brothers swore under his breath. Daniel lunged toward Emma, but I stood between them. "Touch her," I said, my voice low, "and I'll have you in handcuffs before dessert." The downfall. He tried to laugh it off. "She's exaggerating. It's out of context." But the damage was done. His family avoided his eyes. Emma handed me the tablet like it was evidence in a trial. I excused myself, took her upstairs, and locked the door. We stayed there until I heard his brothers leaving without saying goodbye. The aftermath. On Monday morning, the papers were served. Emergency custody granted, thanks to that video. He called, threatened, begged, promised. I didn't answer. My lawyer handled everything. Within 2 weeks, he was living alone in a 1-bedroom apartment, paying court-ordered support. His mother tried to call me once, but all she said was, I didn't know. Yes, I told her, you did. Reflection. Some people think revenge is about rage. It isn't. It's about letting the truth stand naked in the light, where no one can look away. He wanted to humiliate me in front of his family. Instead, his own daughter showed them who he really was. And the best part? I didn't raise my voice. I didn't have to. Because the moment those 5 words left her mouth, "Want to see proof, Grandma?" he wasn't the man in control anymore. He was the man everyone finally saw.